Thank you. Hello, everybody. It's good to see so many of you up in the morning, because I guess at this time, this is the morning at the assembly. All right. I will talk a bit about AMD, what we are doing, what's going on in the fab, and then I'm going to show the processor roadmap and move a little bit into depth about the new X2 processor. And I also have a demo machine here, which is the latest X2. And we also have a booth here at Assembly, so just around the corner, where you can go and play with the latest. We also have a FX57 there, and this one will be there. We also have a Ferrari theme, so we have the new Ferrari 4000. So you're very welcome afterwards and look at our booth. So here is a little bit information about AMD. So it was founded in 1969, so a very old company with IT standards. Headquarters in Sunnyvale, around 15,000 employees, and the revenue for last year was $5 billion US. Whoa. Sorry for that. All right, that won't happen again, sorry. So as you can see, for the $5 billion, it's split into three segments. So we have flash memory, and we have an office here in Finland, only taking care of flash memory. And Nokia is our biggest customer here, of course. And then microprocessors, which is the area I'm going to talk about. And then we have some processors for set-top boxes, digital video, etc. So these are the operations we have. So Sunnyvale, California, as you can see, and then we have in Dresden, Germany. That's our fab where we produce all our microprocessors. And then in Singapore and Malaysia, we do the test and packing. So if you have an Athlon processor, you see that it normally says assembled in Malaysia. So about the Fab 30, so it's a mega fab located in Dresden, Germany. It's our flagship fab, and it's producing all our microprocessors, so from Sempron to Opteron, Turion, and Athlon 64 family. And by mid-2005, we will have all wafer starts with 90 nanometer. What's happening now? Okay, so you have it there. Okay, all right, fine. So, all right. So, any questions regarding this so far? No. All right. What else? Yeah, I can do some talking about our booth. So we have a few competitions there where you can play some golf, and we also have. What else do we have? Yeah, some few competitions which we will have, and you can have some nice prizes over there. Okay, so we're back again. All right. So here you can see the Fab 36, which is we have started to do some wafer starts in March. It will be located just at the same site as Fab 30. This is also a huge fab which will be 300 millimeter wafers. And the technology for that fab is 65, 45, and 32 nanometer. Thank you. Okay, so AMD's role in the market space. So from the beginning, we can see before '97, we saw ourselves as a follower. So we were doing the licensed product from our colleague in the business, so second source of Intel. And at that time, we produced the 286, 386, and the 486. And from the year '97 to 2002, we were the challenger. So we had our own products and pretty competitive in that space. So we had some really good marks in the. So for example, we had the first 1 gigahertz processor was introduced in March 2000. We also had the Fab of the Year award. And then, as we see ourselves now as a leader, so we have the leading technology, we have a superior architecture against our competitor, and also a statement of that is that we was best hardware and best supplier award at SBS, which is System Builder Summit. So that is voted from the system builders. So this is the roadmap, and as you can see, this roadmap is from 10th of March. So what we can say is that the dual core you see in the right hand side of the picture is already introduced. So we have introduced the Opteron dual core and also the Athlon 64X2, which is the desktop dual core. And for the mobile segment, we have the Turion 64, which is our new mobile technology. I will talk a little bit more about that, and that is also part of the Ferrari 4000. All right, so desktop. The step, or let's go here. So what we see is that normally a user have several programs open at the same time. So what we see is 85% of the current PC users, they have more than 6 applications running at the same time. And by just having a single core or one CPU in your machine made your system very slow. You had the time glass coming up, and for that, we saw that the natural step is to implement a second core into the processor. So we have a dual core solution, which helps, and we say that we will beat the power glass. So you don't get the power glass from the in Windows terms. So and also the home multimedia usage is estimated to grow 62%. So we see that what's happening is that people bring in their videos, all their digital pictures, and they want to play with them and make them into their home movies and their own play sets. So we introduced Athlon 64X2 for consumers who wants to do more in less time. So this one is the the newest in the Athlon 64 family, and now your computer can be fast again. So there's a very big difference in having an X2 regarding to your single core CPU. So for example, when I was doing the installation on this machine, when I was loading the drivers, I could do all the other stuff. I could download the new drivers, I could work with the computer, and I didn't see any effect of the driver loading in the machine. So really, really impressive thing to see. So multitasking reduces performance on a single core. I guess all you are power users, and you see that when you're running several applications, your computer gets slow, and by having all the applications loaded. So what's happening now is that the dual core is taking care of all the processors, because Windows by itself, I don't know, maybe many of you are using Linux as well. So Windows is multi-threaded by default, so it can take care of several processors. So this is what we see that you want to do. You want to have your entertainment center. You want to store, edit, and share your digital photos and burn your CDs. And you want to do this all at the same time. You don't want to do one thing at a time. You want to burn your CD or burn your DVD, and then also chat with your friends and rip maybe music or... So this is how the Athlon 64X2 looks like. So what we did with the K8 architecture, which is the Athlon family architecture, is that it was designed from the beginning to have multi-core. So the step for us was very easy to take, to just add the second CPU. So what we do is we add the second CPU and also its own level 2 cache. And it's very easy to implement as well. It can go on existing motherboard, so you don't have to have a new chipset or a new motherboard. Just a BIOS update, so it recognizes the CPUs correctly. And you'll see the benefit right from the beginning. So if we look at the competitor side of it, they also have a dual core solution. It's very different. So what they did is that they only took two CPUs next to each other on the wafer, and then they add the dual core support in the chipset. So that's why you need a new motherboard and a new chipset to have the Pentium D works. So this means that you still have the front side bus issue, still bottleneck and still you don't get all the performance you could get. And also it consumes a lot more power. So here we see a picture how this actually works. So for the Athlon 64X2, you have a system request and crossbar switch, which handles all the data transfers. You have the Hyper Transport System bus directly connected to the I/O and the chipset, and then you have the memory controller also inside the CPU, which have also direct connection to the processor. Where you see the competition here can only have one data transfer between the memory and the chipset and to the CPU. So there's a 800 megahertz front side bus bottleneck, and also it can only do one thing at a time. So it can only talk to the other CPU for one, or to the chipset. So even if it's a dual core CPU, it's not true dual core because it's not two cores next to each other talking directly to each other. So here on the next few slides I have some benchmarks, and the improvement we see is up to 80% in performance in some few benchmarks, and then with an average of 21%. And the benchmarks we've been running is some of the standard benchmarks known and used by all the big online houses. So here you see we have the Athlon 64X2, and this is the desktop performance overall. So this is taken from the business and the digital media and the games. So this is compared against the 4000 Plus, which is the fastest single core Athlon 64. And for office productivity, the picture is nearly the same. If we then move into the digital media improvement, we see a big change here. So the increase you get is also 80%, but the average is 34%. So this is the digital media, and this is a number which is overall, so combined all these programs together. So this is what the benefit you get from dual core by having all these programs in the background. So I guess this is how it looks like on your machines when you have a Windows OS. You have a huge line on the taskbar where you're having the background applications. And with the dual core, this will get you roughly 28% faster. This is also another benefit with the dual core, and this is without running any specific background applications. So this is when you have just two programs and working, you're sharing the desktop. So this is the infrastructure. This is the first motherboards that we have tested and approved. So Asus, Gigabyte, MSI, and WinFast. For the cool and quiet feature, which is a power saving feature, we got an Energy Star award, and this is just because the Athlon and Sempron and all our CPUs that have this power saving feature consumes it doesn't consume very much of power. So what we see is that when you're using the cool and quiet feature, it works in 3 steps. So you have the full power, full frequency minus 200 megahertz, and then 1 gigahertz. And in the 1 gigahertz step, in the lowest mode, it only consumes 22 watts. Sorry. All right, so AMD enabling a more secure computing environment. We have enabled a feature which is called EVP, or Enhanced Virus Protection. And that helps you by stopping all the buffer overflow attacks you might have. So the worms and Trojan horses as Code Red, MS Blaster, and Slammer. If you have an AMD and enable this EVP feature, it's impossible to get these attacks. And we're also working on a feature called Presidio, and that is the next step in secure computing. And that will be introduced next year. So this is how we position our processors. So we have the Athlon 64FX, which is the ultimate gaming processor. And then we have the Athlon 64X2, which is for multitasking and digital media. And then the mainstream Athlon 64, and for the value is the Sempron. So we recently introduced the new FX, which is the FX57. So this is the the best gaming CPU you can have. And we see, because the games are not optimized for dual core yet, so that's why we still have the single core in FX. So a little update from Microsoft side here. Microsoft now have released their XP Professional 64-bit and also the Server 2003, which have the 64-bit support. So now when the OS is introduced, we will see that many 64-bit applications will be ported into 64-bit x86, and that will give you a performance increase of roughly 25%. So this is the platform transition. So this one shows that we're phasing out socket A. So socket A is going to disappear now, and the value processors will be on socket 754. So this is the model number roadmap. So here you can see we're in Q3 right now. So we have the FX57 and the 55 at the top, and then as you can see, what's happening is that for the Athlon 64, we're moving over to 939 pin only. And then Sempron is only 754 pin. Turion 64. Turion 64 mobile technology. This is our new mobile CPU. And what it does, it brings you greater battery life. It gives you more mobile technology. So the Turion 64 is, we see it as the Centrino killer. So the Turion 64 brings you all the wireless features, also the power saving features, so you get extended battery life performance. And we position it into so you have the DTR, which is the desktop replacement. So these are the big, heavy, chunky notebooks. And then you have the full size, normal size, and then the TNL, which is thin and light. So the Turion 64 is made for mobility. And you have all the features in the Turion 64 as you have in the AMD 64 processors. So you have the Power Now feature, you have the enhanced virus protection, you have the direct connect architecture, the hyper transport. All these features are also in the Turion 64. So we don't bound the ODM manufacturers of the notebooks to go with a certain solution. We give the freedom to choose whatever is the best solution out there right now. So it's working fully with all the graphics chipsets and with the wireless. So this is our new and really great technology. So this is the different how we name the Turion. So the ML is the 35 watt, the MT is the 25 watt. So the second letter, the L and the T, is just showing if you get greater mobility, so it consumes less power. And the number is relative processor performance, so that means the 32 is faster than the 30 here. So comparison against the competition. So here you see that a really great technology and really good features to have in your notebook. And also some performance, some benchmarks here. So you see the well-positioned MT30 against the Pentium M730. And for the overall performance, 17% faster. All right, so now I'd like to show you the X2. Yeah, do we have any questions before I do this? Yes? So the question was on the program side, how programming, yeah. So is it difficult to program for dual core and 64-bit? And I would say the answer to that is no. So it's very easy to program and make your applications for it. For example, when some of the software vendors were porting their applications to 64-bit, very easy, very smooth, and you don't have to port your applications to 64-bit if you don't see the benefit of it, because you can still run it in your 64-bit OS. So for example, if you have an application which is 32-bit, and you run it and you don't really see the benefit of moving it to 64-bit, it's not necessary. But you still get the benefit of that you can allocate fully 4 gig of memory to that application because you have an OS that can handle more than 4 gig. So it's not all the cases where you really see that you need to port it to 64-bit. But yeah. I'm not an expert in programming, so but I can give you my business card and you can mail me the questions and I can get the answers for you if you want to. Yeah. Okay. So here we can see the dual core. This is the 4800 plus, and for example, then if we start a very heavy application which would normally get your PC to actually you couldn't do anything with it. So this is very heavy calculation. So this, as you can see, the requested operation may take very long time, and normally this would really have your computer to not be accessible or workable. It would take very long time to do stuff, and as you can see here, very quick response. And still have this application running, which would normally take 100% of your CPU power. And this machine we have in the booth, so you're very welcome to come and play with it, to see the benefits and how you can work with it. We also have the new Acer Ferrari 4000. Very nice. And this one is has started selling now, so you can order it from your computer store. So any more questions? Okay, thank you very much.